I realized that half information on investment, half information on buying any property, any area was not a good strategy. And after attending few sessions with you, Rusty, I think the understanding was much more clearer. And how it helped was, rather than investing on half or one-fourth information, we had full information and we were more confident. A lot of us, we don't understand these kind of investment and details and stuff. So I had one property, or we had one property, we lived there, and then somebody told us about investment. Now, without going into detail, we invested, and then somebody said, oh, you can do this as well. Then again, without going into detail, we bought our second property. But I think the best thing was when I met you and you asked me a very weird question. And I'm using the word weird because I never thought of that question. And you asked me to go backwards and start planning from bottom to top rather than top to bottom. And then I realized that half information on investment, half information on buying any property, any area was not a good strategy. And after attending few sessions with you, Rusty, I think the understanding was much more clearer. And how it helped was, rather than investing on half or one-fourth information, we had full information and we were more confident. Now, what I mean by half information and the difference between half and full information is full information also allowed us to plan our next step after that investment property, which in past I was not doing. So in past I was like, okay, this is my step. Now, what to do after that? Absolutely no idea. And that is the clarity on that end only came when I met you a few times. The way you explained things, they were very helpful. So you asked me how many properties do you want in how many years, how will you get there, and all those kinds of things. So we never thought of 1 to 10, and then you said, let's start from, if you want 8 properties in next 10 years, let's plan from that angle rather than going from 1 to 8. And I think that was helpful. So in past we were investing one property at a time without knowing what to do in future. But when we started talking from end goal and break it down, we had a better understanding of, okay, this is what we are doing today, that is what we have to do tomorrow, and this is how we will reach to our end goal, which I think at that time was 7 or 8. And you are spot on. A lot of us, we get stuck after one of properties because we don't know whether we are talking about cash flow, we are talking about capital gain, we are talking about, and all those things I think needs to be discussed, or we need to understand all those things if we want to achieve multiple 5, 6, 7, 8 properties. I think the biggest difference for me, Rusty, is we are planning for next few properties rather than only one property. And that I think is the biggest difference. I think the mindset, the way we are thinking, when to sell, whether to sell or not, can we take some cash out? Can we talk about 2 rather than 1? Can we talk about superannuation? Can we talk about A, B, and C? As I said, rather than thinking about one property, we are thinking about multiple properties at the same time. I think dealing with rare also help us or give us a cushion sort of thing, that any headache, leave it for you guys. And you guys will do all the calculation and homework in the background. And look, again, I was confident that's why we could do it. Investing in property is not $30,000 investment. It's a big investment. And if things will go wrong, you can go down south overnight. So it was important to have that confidence on you and your team. And to be very honest, 8 months down the line, we are talking about second and third. That is a clear indication that confidence was at the right spot, not at the wrong spot. Otherwise, you will not have a conversation regarding second and third. I don't think I was not even thinking about it. And when you say all my properties were in Victoria, that is not right. All my properties were in Tarneet in Victoria. So they were not only in one state, they were all in one suburb, which obviously when I spoke to you, you explained that that strategy needs to be discussed. And to be very honest, I have absolutely no idea how can I go interstate by myself. I have, again, one of my friend asked me about how did you manage to buy a property in Western Australia sitting in Melbourne. And I said, look, I cannot do that homework, or I could not do that homework by myself, but Rusty and his team helped me. And obviously they are experts, so they will talk about the property, they will talk about the area, they will talk about all those kind of things, and that gives you confidence. Good thing is that you and your team, you don't only talk about area and stuff, you also produce reports. Right now, when it comes to talk, you can talk absolutely whatever you want. But when you provide reports, it's a data which will not lie, cannot lie. And that helps significantly taking that decision of going interstate. So I was aligned, and every step was taken, keeping me in loop, obviously. And that gave you that extra comfort that even though your team is doing all the homework in the background, I'm still aware of what is going on. And it's not that I'm taking that decision without knowing anything. So I was in loop for absolutely everything. You guys provided few property agents' contact details, which I got in touch with them, and we could finalize, yes. And they're looking at the property, 7 months. Few issues here and there, but nothing significant. I'm comfortable. Few months back in December, I was in Western Australia, so I had a look at the property as well. It was good to see the property in person. Absolutely no shockers, no surprises. It was exactly what was discussed. And that gives you more confidence as well for your next one. That I was shown a very nicely presented property, and I actually end up getting a rundown property. So I got what I was shown. Now, look, the value of the property has gone up by 10% already in 6-7 months. And hopefully it keep going up. Look, interest rate is definitely a concern. It's still high. But looking at the market and doing few things here and there, talking to few people, few experts like you guys, I think interest rate will only come down now. Again, there's no guarantee, and that gives you a bit of a confidence. And we are talking about next property already, which will happen soon. It all comes down to risk with these kind of things. If you can manage that, you can survive. I had a good experience. I'm having a good experience, and hence why we are talking about the next one. My advice is talk to you guys, and if you feel comfortable, if you feel confident, go for it, and then decide on the basis of experience you will. Professional, very professional, and very helpful.